Hello and welcome to the Feminine Millionaire Show. I'm your host, Polly Alexander. I'm a success coach, healer, creative and future millionaire. If creating money and success in a spiritual and feminine and joyful way is your goal, this show is for you. Let's all rise together. Hello and welcome. I'm recording this episode, which you'll be listening to at the point we enter a new year. I'm recording it just before Christmas and I'm celebrating because I'm going to celebrate with you here today. So the first thing I'm celebrating is that I just got published in Forbes in the US. So super excited about that. It's a really amazing feature on women changing their financial mindset. I will link to it in the show notes. Really excited to be able to take the work that I do to a bigger audience. Secondly, I'm taking 3 weeks off. So you will have a break on the podcast. There's a whole wealth of amazing episodes you can go back and listen to if you join sometime along the way since I started a couple of years ago. There's a whole wealth of amazing episodes to dive into. This time last year, I decided when I came back to work in January, I am not going to work the next 2 weeks of January next year. And I made this decision to myself, I want to be away. Nothing really seemed to happen in those first few weeks. I was on a detox, so I was feeling a little bit gloomy. It was a bit of a crash from the high of Christmas and New Year. And I really tuned into my truth. And it was to make the commitment to an extended break over Christmas. So I made that commitment when I came back. When I came back in January of 2022, I actually put the time off in my diary. And I didn't know what I was going to do, and I didn't know where I'd be, and I didn't know how this is going to happen. But I made that commitment, and that's the first thing you need to do, is make a commitment. You don't need to know how something's going to happen. You just need to make the commitment on your part to going for it. And so as the time drew closer in the autumn of 2022, I had another celebration. I actually am now an official Spanish resident, which has been a long journey of several years to get here. So I'm super excited. So that means I'm now free to travel and to spend time wherever I choose. So we are off on a big adventure. We're going to go to one of my favorite hotels for Christmas. I decided that would be the most nourishing way to spend my Christmas. Family Christmases are not an option that's available to me. And as happens to many of us as we get older, I had the opportunity to make Christmas whatever I desired. When you don't have family to spend Christmas with, whether it's the family of origin or your own children, it can both be sad, but also a great gift. And I used to love family Christmases and all the rituals and special festivities. And yet, reconvening with family was always triggering and frustrating. And it brought back all those dynamics and patterns I was working so hard to let go of. We're listening to this as we come out of Christmas, so this may resonate deeply with you. But since my mother passed, and even before, I get to choose my own Christmas experience. So this year, I chose to be at one of my favourite 5-star hotels in Ibiza, where I could feel peaceful, supported and nourished, and be with my little dog Teddy Pom Pom. And just yesterday I received a message from a couple of my friends who have spontaneously decided to come out and join me at the same hotel, which is super exciting. There's some other lovely people I'll be there with as well. So I'm just, really excited to have this space for fun and rest and play. And then we just got news that the paperwork has been officially approved by the Agricultural Ministry of the Balearic Islands, and the Pom-Pom and I are off on a big adventure. We're going to be travelling far, far, far away. You can follow on Instagram what we did and where we went. And I'm very excited. First international trip in several years. So the last month has been an incredibly intense time of spiritual growth, especially around themes like accepting others. I'm learning acceptance of what is, alongside a good dose of compassion for others. I'm learning not to blame myself. I grew up being blamed for things that were not my responsibility or my fault, so it's easy to default to this old story that I've done something wrong. I'm learning to deal with and process frustration and resentment for situations that should not have arisen had other people been organised, professional and accountable. So much growth happening right now, the growth in learning to detach from their behaviour, the growth in learning to process my emotions, the growth in learning acceptance. So it's perfect timing that I have this beautiful break coming up. But let's come to New Year now. Now, personally, I don't push or rush planning my year ahead. And I blend both work and personal life because they are, for me, one and the same. My whole life is integrated together. And I like to really take my time to reflect on what's true for me and what I desire to feel and desire to experience. So in today's episode, we'd actually recorded last year, but it's so powerful I wanted to share it with you again. I'm actually going to be sharing how to plan your 2022, and it's going to include some of the ways that I get started, some of the processes, the rituals, the questions I ask myself in order to create this beautiful vision for the year ahead. And I truly believe that we are co-creators. So we don't get to decide what's going to happen and just make it happen. But actually there's magic and miracles playing out, and the universe sometimes knows a better way for us to have our desired feelings and experiences. So things don't always go according to plan, and that's okay. But you get to steer your ship. You get to be the driver of your life. You get to steer it in the direction that you want. And that's what I'm going to be diving into in this episode. Instead of allowing life to happen to you, sit in the driving seat, become the co-creator with the universe. The universe responds to your intentions, your thoughts and your feelings, and it will work with you to manifest your desires, sometimes in even better ways than you expected. A little bit like this trip I've got coming up. 6 months ago, I didn't even know the person that has instigated this trip happening. We don't know all of the riches and the joys and the magic that lies ahead. So my invitation to you is to be intentional and yet be open. Be intentional, but keep it light and playful, and be available for the magic that life always brings our way. So I'm going to be taking a break from the podcast now. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I will see you later in January. Bye for now. Now, the truth is, you can be the driver of your life, or you can be the passenger. Which do you want to be? Do you want to allow life to happen to you, Or are you going to create the life you really desire for yourself? In this episode, I'll be talking about getting clear on what you really want and what your focus is for the coming year. You get to take back control of your life, and you greatly increase your chances of meeting your goals and experiencing your deepest desires when you consciously plan the year ahead. So take this moment as a fresh start, a chance to wipe the slate clean and start over. So the masculine way of planning the year ahead is all about setting goals, defining action steps, and doing. The feminine way of planning the year ahead is about feeling your way into the year, listening to your intuition, flowing, being with what you want this year to be about. So, for example, a question to ask yourself could be, how do you want to feel this year? That would be the feminine approach. Whereas, what are you going to do differently this coming year would be the masculine approach. And this is at the heart of my work that I do with all my clients. It's about bringing together both the masculine and feminine energies, regardless of whether you're a man or a woman, and harnessing both energies that exist within us and around us and that we all have access to, and co-creating with both those energies our experience of the coming year. And this is how we create our wildest desires and epic abundance without burning out, getting bored or disillusioned. So why is this time significant? Well, the start of a new year is a turning point and a chance to let go, reset, and start over and reconnect to your desires. So this turning point is such a powerful time for reflection and renewal. And taking the time to reconnect to your vision, your goals, and your intentions for the coming year will bring you the clarity on where to focus your time and energy in order to achieve your desired results and feelings. So it's almost like the time we put in now to really getting intentional and conscious and clear on what this coming year is about. This is going to guide where we direct our energy and therefore what we experience. So the time invested now is time well spent. So I recommend that you build upon your findings and takeaways from episode 45, the end of year review, and you decide upon the themes for the coming year. There's some really powerful questions you can ask yourself that will be a beautiful foundation before you start this planning process looking forward. Now, don't feel you're behind. So you'll be listening to this already in the first week or later in January, and I'm right there with you. My personal take on the new year is to take it slow, is to take time to digest the past year. In fact, both years, this year and last year, have gone away on holiday over Christmas and New Year. So my new year has actually started pretty late. In 2021, I crash landed into the new year, coming back from a most incredible spontaneous trip to the Maldives, only to face the stress of navigating back across closed lockdown borders back home to Ibiza, and then to find myself in the midst of a power cut at home due to flooding. It was pretty much a crash landing into the beginning of last year. So needless to say, my new year didn't really get going until the end of January. This year is less dramatic, but I also went away for the holidays, and I'm feeling this intuitive calling to allow in the new year, to glide into the new year rather than push through it, force it in, or rush in. So each day I'm sitting a little with the possibilities available for this year. I'm making space to listen to the whispers of my soul, I'm listening and waiting to hear what she desires, where I'm guided to go. What is wanting to emerge through me? I'm listening, waiting, being, before I set goals and make plans. I'm allowing time. I'm allowing space. And I'm gifting my year time to emerge. So if you need to give yourself permission to emerge more slowly into 2022, do just that. So I'm going to share 3 things you can do to start to shape what 2022 is about. So the first thing I invite you to do is to set a timer for 10 or 15 minutes and make a list of your top 20 desires for 2022. Your top 20 desires for 2022. Let them flow. This is not a time to be practical, to question how they're going to come to reality, or to question if it's possible. Just allow them to flow. And this is the benefit of using a timer. You have to work in the flow. There's no overthinking. There's no opportunity for analysis. It's just going to flow through you. The second thing to do is to set a theme for your year. And I recommend that this is 1 to 3 words. If you can get 1 word, that's great. Now, with the theme, I found it can go a couple of different ways. So the feminine way is just to allow it straight in. And you might get a word that comes through. Boom, like that. And I got the word love. Now that didn't come through from a place of analysing why or what it means or what exactly it's about. I just received it. And now I am reflecting to see if there's another word that needs to come through. And so this is allowing the feminine energies to receive your theme, yeah? The other way to do it is to use the masculine energies. Look at what's going on in your life, look at the changes you want to make, look at what you're looking to manifest, and then think about what a good theme would be. So you can go with whatever process works for you, or you may have several words that come through several different channels. When I've got my word, I will then think about how could that play out in the different areas of my life. So for example, if my word was love, how could that play out in business? How could I receive more love, give more love through my business? How could I embody the qualities of love more in my business? And that will start to come through in more concrete ways, which will eventually lead to action steps, which is the masculine, providing the container for the feminine, the love to flow through. So then bring in your masculine here. You can look at your goals and your desires, and you can see what this year is about for you. And we have different themes, we have different seasons of life. Is this a year coming up that's all about launching a new business for you? Maybe quitting corporate. Maybe it's about really going for it in your career. Or maybe it's a year where you want to have a baby and bring new life to your world, or adopt an animal. Maybe it's going to be a year of adventure and travel and exploring the world. Maybe it's a year of focusing on family and having adventures together. And if it's a year of exploration around your next steps, or deep inner work or healing for you, don't make that wrong. Know that the deep inner transformation happens first before the external results show. And they really will show. So many times I have supported people working on abundance and witness the deep inner shifts happening first and then the external money flowing after. So the purpose of setting these themes for the year are to guide your focus, and they'll help focus the brain and guide your actions. So the third step in planning your 2022 that I recommend is to do a vision board. You can do this in a masculine or a feminine way. It's something that I find my community, who are very intuitive, creative, visual people, I find this to be a really powerful manifesting tool and a really powerful tool in focusing your vision on where you're headed. And remember, when we're looking to manifest, we're looking to feel the outcome now wherever we can. And imagery that evokes how you want to feel and invokes that new reality you're creating. Having this imagery around you on a daily basis can be incredibly powerful, and a vision board is one of the most powerful ways of bringing that imagery into your field. I actually have mine opposite my bed so that I go to sleep looking at it and I wake up looking at it. And time has taught me, having done these for the last 12 years consistently, that they always manifest. It's really almost like magic, and I've witnessed it for many, many, many clients as well. And this is a great time to refresh your board or do a new one. So there's two different ways I've done this, and I've done it both the masculine and the feminine way. But once I've worked through my desires and my goals for the year, my theme, then the masculine way would be to find images that represent those goals and put them on a board. Now, you can do this by going on to Pinterest and screenshotting images, printing them out off the internet or cutting them out of magazines. So you can look for specific things. And Google is the easiest way to find pictures of what you're looking to do. And make sure that you're in your vision as well. That's a mistake a lot of people make, is that they create this beautiful abstract vision, but it doesn't feel relatable and they're not actually in the vision. So always put a picture of yourself in the middle of all of these wonderful things, this vision that you are manifesting. So that's the more masculine way to do it. And you can also use apps or softwares online that pull the images in and make a collage, or you could do it in Canva. Now, the feminine way, which I also love to do, is to gift myself a container of time, maybe 30 minutes, and sit with a stack of magazines. So you'll need to collate some magazines first. And I will just flick through the magazines and I will follow my intuitive guidance, and I will tear out images that represent how I'd like to feel. So I might tear out images of flowers or of a sea or of someone doing yoga. And these might represent things I want to feel or experience. And I'll also pull out words that resonate with me or images that resonate. So they may not relate specifically to the things I'm looking to manifest or my specific goals, but they'll represent the feelings I want to feel. Or some flowers might represent focusing on my femininity, or forests might represent a greater connection with nature. So you're being more symbolic with this route, and it can be a really beautiful way to create a vision board without getting bogged down in specifics or finding the right image or the right words. Quite often I combine the two. So I'll go through this spontaneous, intuitive, feminine process, tear out images, and then I'll also pair it with some images printed off the internet of specific things I'm looking to manifest or places I'm looking to visit. And then I'll arrange the two. Again, I'll give myself a timer. I'll arrange on a big corkboard or a big whiteboard, or even just on the wall. I will arrange the mixture of the two images in a way that is pleasing to me. And I'll do this sometimes on smaller boards throughout the year when I'm looking to manifest, say, a new home, for example. I have found that this massively accelerates the process of it coming to me. There's something about physically engaging, physically with my hands, with my body, with the imagery, and putting it together, that I become an active co-creator in a greater way. I can't explain exactly how it works, but I know that it does. So these three ways to plan your 2022 in a more feminine way. First of all, write down your top 20 desires. Secondly, set a theme for your year. Listen, look, find, reflect. What is that theme? And thirdly, create a physical vision of your coming year. In this way, you're bringing both the energies together, the masculine and feminine energies. And I invite you to give yourself permission to take your time in this process, to feel into what is aligned for you, and to listen to your intuition. So let's set a collective intention here and now. So I intend that your coming year is abundant, it's filled with freedom, is joyful and is loving. Let's just take a moment to breathe that in together. I see my year as abundant, free, joyful and loving. Here's to the most amazing year ahead. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I invite you to set the intention to really be there for yourself in 2023, to be there for your deepest desires, your greatest wishes, and your truth. And I wish you a year ahead filled with abundance of all kinds, with love, peace, happiness, and joy. I look forward to seeing you in a few weeks' time. Bye for now.